Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account. We're going to be looking at the cursed realm, breaking down the boss in here, guys. Now, overall, again, based on the build of some of these heroes, it's kind of interesting. Looking at Naruko and seeing the build that they're kind of using. It seems like depending on the build, depending on the stars, depending where you do have the hero, we are seeing more or less damage out of that hero, which it doesn't make sense because if you build a hero actually a lot stronger, should do a little bit better, but that does not seem to be the case. Let's hop over to the guide and check out what this is showing. All right, guys, so we had to break it down a little bit. As you can see, looking at our Merc, we have Naruko in here with Baden, then we have Sophia, Belinda, Matria, and then we do have Athalia down there. Now, this is, again, kind of the interesting, looking at the damage in these formations, and this was actually the formation that is in here. If you don't have Leica, you can put Baden in there. If you don't have Baden, you can put Kren. So again, this is a really interesting formation with Liberta in here. So you can see 19 billion damage in this formation, 1.05 billion on a 2-star. It looks like what is that? A 303 rate here, 60 engraving. Now coming down here, when you look at just having the 9 of 9 furniture, so adding the 9 of 9 furniture, you can see, guys, it ups it a little bit, but there is one last star in there. But when you come down here a little bit further, 1.51. So again, looking at 2 stars, but only the 3 of 9 furniture yielded, I mean, what's that? Closer to, I mean, 0.12 billion damage, 0.13 billion damage. Which is weird with the 9 of 9 furniture. And that is kind of what, and I had to get some clarification on here, guys. But when you look at the damage, 23, which is, of course, having the 3 of 9 furniture right on this build. And then the second one is 19, but right there, guys, only 1.38. And then, of course, looking here, 1.51. So it seems like the furniture is not working properly. I don't know the clarification behind it, but that is what I guess we're kind of seeing right now. They've done some testing again over on the Chinese server, and it seems like there is something going on with Naruko that we're trying to figure out. So looking at our builds, guys, let's break these down. So we do have Oden right here, and then we do have Baden. Right over here, 303.38 is what they recommend. So they are not recommending the 9 of 9 furniture on Naruko, but you can see Naruko in there. If you don't have Naruko, Hodgkin is still a very, very strong buffer. Then we have Mortis in here, and we're using the Fire Breather. So kind of interesting to see the Fire Breather still being in the formation. Now, second one, guys, it is the awakened version of Belinda. And of course, Belinda and Ivan are super broken together, just like Ivan with anybody. The hero works incredibly, incredibly well. Then we have Rosline that is following Belinda in here. And then we do have Guineas. Now, if you are not running these two, if you do not have Rosline and Guineas, you're actually going to replace them right here with Lorzen, and you're going to replace it with Rain. This is going to be a much better damage combination. And then we do have Tamara's in here. Again, Tamara's does require a significant build to get the enthusiasm buff to go up on everybody in here. If you don't have Tamara's, you can put Estrelda in there. You can put a couple different buffing heroes in here to really amplify the damage that you're going to see if you don't have Tamara's on that awakened version of Belinda. And then we are running the Winged Lion in here. Looking at the third one, interesting enough, guys, this is Brutus, the awakened version of Brutus. We're starting to see him actually falling out a lot of different formations, but you can see we have Brutus, and then we have Albedo in here. We have Amelia in here. We have Leonardo, and then we do, of course, have Khazard with at least the minimum plus 30 signature item, which is going to give him the double duration of the 60 dissolve points in there. Then we have the seal in here as well. Again, a very, very solid formation in here, all based on the crowd control factor that we see within here, allowing the seal to do an incredible amount of damage. Now in here, if you're missing Brutus or missing Albedo, you can actually swap in Merlin in the formation or this bottom formation altogether, guys. So if you don't have that awakened version of Brutus, you can see we have Scrag in here. We have Rem, we have Rosline. Rosline will follow Scrag, of course. Amplification with Rain, and then of course the linking and the damage that we have Lorzen. And again, these two are kind of go together in a lot of different formations. That is the reason why in that previous formation, we've seen them kind of together as well. Getting down here, we're looking at Tricia. We have Orin, and then we're running Saurus in here with Halos. Very, very happy to see that Halos is still being built in here and still being utilized, guys, because it seems like he is falling out of a lot of formations. And then, of course, running right here, Matria in here for the SP effect that we have within this team. But looking at the second one, this drops Vithiel in here instead of Halos. And you can see, guys, Lorzen comes in here as well instead of building out Trishea. So if you don't have Trishea, you can throw Lorzen in there. And then if you're not running either of those guys, you actually have Raku in here, which does incredibly well. Mulan in here for damage. We have some buffs out of here with Mishka. And then, of course, Saurus and Estrilda is buffing as well, as we have the Fox Fatale in here to do some crowd control, some charm. Works incredibly well. Now looking down here, guys, we have the Awakened version of Sophia. Now this one is pretty interesting because, again, we're running Demia in here, we're running Rem in here, and we're also running the Winged Owl. Now, if you don't have Queen, you can put Naruko in here. You can put Hodgkin in here. Queen does make this formation work incredibly well to group up all of those heroes, which does make a little bit of a difference because, of course, if they are not grouped up, guys, you're not going to see as much utility out of the Owl if they are not all together within this formation. Now, down here, again, kind of interesting. So this is the same formation, and I think this might be the ult formation where you can swap a couple different teams depending on the heroes that you have built. So this, again, is the same formation we actually seen right up here. But again, you can swap a couple of these formations around and see exactly where you're going to get the most damage out of it. If you don't have this formation, again, this is kind of the sub formation in here, or vice versa, depending on what you're building. Then, of course, the final one down here, guys, we have the Awakened version of Athalia with Daemon. Now, I tried this one out. For me, it doesn't work incredibly well. I think Edwin actually has to be built out quite a bit higher. So for this one, I did go in here with Liberta. Now, if you don't have Liberta built, you can use the Awakened version of Athalia. But you see, we have Anastel, we have Halos, we have Vithiel, and then we do have Grez. Super stoked to see as well that Grez is still making a impression in a lot of AFK Arena with the shielding aspect in there, with the skeletal minions. Does work incredibly well, which again, I went in here with the Liberta combination because it dropped out Edwin. Again, I don't have Edwin built up very high. But it seems like he does require a significant build out to get that Dominion to actually work like it is meant to. Then, of course, Anastel with the plus 60 engraving makes a big difference, guys, with the Brawler's protection on the team. And then, of course, we have Daemon in here that scales overall with whoever you're fighting. Then there is a bottom team that has the Awakened version of Thane in there. And then just a couple different variations, including Edwin, including that Anastel right down here, Halos, and then of course Grez, and we are running the Owl in there as well, guys. So overall, hopefully we get some variations out of here. And again, what I do personally is I go through here, even on the free-to-play account, I go through here, I build out, and I make sure the team formations that I can build. For instance, this one I know I can build, and I don't have Guineas built out, but we can swap in a couple other heroes in there. I do have Brutus in here, I have Rem in here. So again, there are a few variations of these formations that we can fit in. Depending on who you have built, it is going to change up some of the variations. So we're going to have to see, and make sure, guys, 100% make sure you are prioritizing that you are merking a hero based on who you have built or who you don't have built. Make sure you're merking the hero so you can really get the most out of this game mode. All right, guys, so that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.